Xulin Daf Lamed Bet. We're starting Lamed Aleph Amud Bet on the bottom line. Amar Rava says Shahat para v'shahat b'ma acher tima. If you slaughtered a para aduma and together with it you continued to slaughter with the same slice, with the same move, you slaughtered another animal. The divrei akol pesula. According to everyone, it's pasul, both according to Rabbi Natan and according to Rabbanan, like the Gemara is going to explain. However, if it was just slaughtered by the way, without any intention, not that you intended to slaughter the second animal, so then Rabbi Natan para pesula. According to Rabbi Natan, it's pasul. Behema keshera, but the behema that you slaughtered is okay, just the para aduma is not okay. The Rabbanan para keshera, the opposite, and behema pesula. What's going on over here is Rabbi Natan holds that if you have no kavanah for shahita, it's still a good shahita. And therefore, because together with the slaughtering of the para aduma, you actually did something, you were machshir an animal to eat because your shahita was okay, so then that's called doing a melacha with para aduma. You cannot do melacha together. Any melacha of para aduma cannot be done with something else. It has to be exclusive. So if you included something else within any melacha of para aduma, it's not okay. And since over here you slaughtered with the same slice, you slaughtered another animal and it worked, so therefore he says pasul. But Rabbanan say, no, you need kavanah for shahita. And since you didn't have kavanah for shahita, so therefore the second cow is not good. Since the second cow is not okay, it's not kasher, so therefore you didn't do anything. Since you didn't do anything, so therefore the para remains mutar. However, if you did intend to slaughter the second animal, then everyone agrees that it's pasul. Asks the Gemara, Pshita, it's simple. Obviously, this follows just from the fact that we know Rabbi Natan, the Rabbanan's Shita. So this follows. So it's very simple. Why do you have to tell it to me? It says the Gemara, Rabbi Natan itzrichale. I need this for Rabbi Natan's understanding. I would think v'shahat ota marahmana. V'lo ota v'havirta. The pasuk says by paraduma, v'shahat ota. You can slaughter it, but not it and its friend, and therefore hechi dameh. I would think, what's that situation? You slaughtered two para adumas together, and since you had two para, the Torah is just saying you can't slaughter two para aduma, two parot adumot. But if you had one para aduma, you can slaughter a regular animal xulin with it. So kamash ma'lan aval behemad xulin emalo. I would think it's fine. Kamash ma'lan that even that is pasul, because you can't do anything, even behemav xulin together with the paraduma. Continues the Gemara, however, hatach dila'at, if you cut a squash, a pumpkin, together with the paraduma, so then divrei akol pesula, everyone agrees it's pasul. Why? Because you did something. If you had intention, this means if you had intention to slaughter the pumpkin, then everyone agrees it's pasul because you did something that you wanted afterwards within the same action. But if it just got cut without your intention, then divrei akol keshera, according to everyone, it's kasher because you did not have intention. And even according to Rabbi Natan, you don't have necessarily have intention by shechita. Over here, you have to have intention because it doesn't do anything. The fact that you cut it la'at doesn't do anything. Even because you didn't have intention, now all you have is a cut blot, and that's not good for anything. You didn't actually create and make something make something kasher right now. So you didn't change anything, you didn't do anything, just cut it. So therefore, it's fine. Continues in the Mishnah. Nafla sakin v'gbia. If in the middle of shachita the knife fell, and then you have to pick it up and continue the slaughtering, and therefore there was a pause in between. Naflu kelav, if your shirt fell off, whatever, something else on top of you, you were wearing something in a jacket and it fell off, and so therefore you stopped to pick it up. Again, you paused in the middle of the shechita. Hishchiz et sakin. If you worked hard to sharpen the knife, and then ve'af, you became tired. Uba havero v'shahat, and then your friend came and slaughtered. Meaning meaning I was so tired that I couldn't even finish the shechita, and my friend had to come and finish it. Im shaha kedei shechita, if you paused for the amount that it takes to do an entire shechita, then it's pesula. Rabbi Shimon Omer, im shaha kedei bikur. No, you have to wait bikur. The Gemara is going to explain what does this mean. My kedei shechita, what does it mean kedei shechita? Amar Rav. Kedei shechita behema acheret. The amount it takes to slaughter an entire other animal. Amar le Rab Kana Rab Aseh le Rav. Rabbi Kana Rab Aseh asked Rav, kedei shechitat behema le behema ve'of le'of, meaning for a behema, the amount of time that makes it, the amount of shehiyah that makes it pasul is if you pause the amount of time it takes to slaughter an animal, a behema. And for an off, if you're slaughtering an off and you pause, so that amount of time is even shorter, the amount of time it takes for an off. O dilma, or maybe no, af behema le'of. Even when you slaughter a bird, it takes the amount of time that makes it pasul for the pause is the same thing. It's the same. You have to wait the amount of time that it takes to slaughter behema, not an off, even though you're slaughtering an off. So Amar lehu, he tells them back, I was not so comfortable and joking with my uncle Rabbi Chia. Chavivi it means beloved. It's referring to his uncle Rabbi Chia. He says I wasn't able to ask him the ishaila that I would ask him, so I wasn't able to figure that out. Itman Amar Rav. Rav says kedesh chitat behema lebehema ve'of le'of. Over here it sounds like Rav does differentiate between off and behema. Shmuel Amar afilu behema le'of. Shmuel says no. Even for an off, you have a shi'ur of a behema. V'chen ki ata Ravina Amar Rabbi Hanan afilu behema le'of. Rabbi Chanina Amar kedesh yavi behema acheret v'yishor. Rabbi Hanan says the amount of time you have to pause is to bring another animal and do shechita. So it's more. You have to actually bring the animal. It says the Gemara, afilu me'alma, even if you're bringing it from somewhere else. How can that make sense? So therefore, natata dvarecha l'shiurin. What does this mean? Where are you bringing it from? You're bringing it from the next city? You're bringing it from the next town? From the next street? What does that mean that you have the amount of time to bring the animal? Amar Papa, omedet la'atili kabenau. No, what they mean to say is like this. According to Rav, you have to wait if you wait just the amount of time. If you pause during shechita, just the amount of time it takes to slaughter, then it's already pasul. But what Rabbi Hanina is arguing, he's saying no. He's saying you have to, even if it's standing, if the animal is standing, it's omedet lehatil. It's standing in order for you to when you slaughter it, you have to you throw it down on the ground, hold it down, and then slaughter. Right. So now this is standing. You have to do that process. So he says you're allowed to pause until the amount of time it takes to throw an animal down to the ground and do the slaughter. So it's a little bit more than Rav. Ika benayu, that's the nafkamina. Amri b'ma'arava, in Eretz Yisrael they used to say Mishmed Rabbi Yossi bar Hanina, Kadesh yagbihena ve'yarbitzena ve'yishchot. You have to be able to pick it up, put it back down, and slaughter it. That's the shi'ur, that if you pause it's pasul. Daka le-daka ve'gasa le-gasa. And he says, yes, it is, it does depend on the animal. And if the animal you're slaughtering is a small one, so then it's it'll take a shorter time to slaughter it, and therefore the shiur shihiyah is smaller, and gasa, a bigger one for a gasa. Okay, Amar Rava shochet u'sakin ra'a. If you slaughter with a bad knife, meaning it's not sharp, it doesn't have any nicks, but it's just not sharp, afilu kol hayom kulo, even if it takes you the whole day to slaughter through the animal's neck, keshera, it's fine. Why? Because you never paused. Ba'i Rava asks, shehiyot mahu sheitztarfu. Let's say we said you need a shiur shihiyah. There's a certain amount of time you have to pause. So let's say you have, you started slaughtering, and then you paused a little bit, not the shi'ur shihiyah. You didn't, so we said it's not pasul, right? You can continue slaughtering. But let's say, then you stopped again, in the middle of the same shahita, you stopped again. So now we want to know, if both shihiyot come together, and that plus that equals a shi'ur shihiyah, is that going to be pasul or not? So, says the Gemara, v'tifshot lemedideh. He said he could do it, it could take the whole day, right? So it should be fine. Says Gemara, hatam b'delo shaha. No, over there he didn't pause at all. even if you do it the entire day, the guy did it the entire day, he never stopped for a bit. So that's when Rava says it's fine, because there was actually absolutely no pause. But we want to know if there was a pause, if there were two pauses actually, and neither of them were shiur shihiyah, we want to know if they can combine to make the animal pasul. Ba'i Rav Huna bered Rav Natan, shaha b'yemi utzimanim mahu. If you were shoheh, if you paused in the minority of the simanim. Meaning, the way Rashi explains at least, is if you start off the shahita good until the end, until the last minority, and then you do shihiyah, and then you continue slaughtering. So then, we're not sure if it's kasher or not, because maybe it's kasher because all you need is rov. We know all you need to slaughter is the majority of the simanim, and therefore after that maybe we don't care what happens after that, it's already kasher. Or we say no, it's still called shechita because some type of reasoning like yeshna l'shechita mitchila ve'ad sof, and therefore the end is still considered shechita, and therefore if you pause even at the end, it's going to be pasul. Rabbi Shimon, it says in Teku, it's a standing question, we don't know the answer. Rashi says we go l'chumra. Rabbi Shimon omerim shakadei bikur. Rabbi Shimon shita that the amount of pausing that makes it into shihiyah is kedei bikur, visiting. What does visiting mean? The amount of time it takes for a chacham to check the knife, meaning to go to a chacham and show your knife to the chacham, and he'll tell you if your knives are okay or not. Says the Gemara, the same thing we said before. What type of measurement is that? You gave your words over to subjective measurements, because if the chacham is close or the chacham is further, which one is it? How far could he be? Says the Gemara, no, it means it means the amount of time it takes for a shochet who's a chacham to do it right away. How long does it take him to check his knife? That's the amount of time that if you pause, it's pasul. Continues the Mishnah, shachat et haveshet upasak et hagargeret. If you slaughter the veshet and then you uproot the gargeret, you do ikur. Rashi says this is the psul of ikur, the fifth psul in shechita. You uproot it with your hand without slaughtering it. So shachat et haveshet, but pasak et hagargeret. This we're talking about a behema, so therefore it's not good. Or you started with uprooting the windpipe, and then you slaughtered the esophagus good. Or you slaughtered one of them, and then you waited for it to die, meaning you only slaughtered one of the simanim and then it died. Or you stuck the knife, you concealed the knife, you stuck it underneath the bottom siman, and then slaughtered upwards, upasko, and then you slaughtered it. So Rabbi Yeshiva omer nevela, Rabbi Akiva omer terefa, and continues the Mishnah. Klal amar Rabbi Yeshiva mishum Rabbi Yehoshua, kol shenifsila b'shchitata. Any type of sul that happens in the shechita, nevela, it's called the nevela. However, if the shechita was totally fine, but something else caused the animal to be invalid, so then garam lipasel, it caused it to be invalid. Terefa, then it's not called nevela, it's called terefa. And then when Rabbi Akiva heard this, he admitted that he agreed. V'hodalo Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva agreed to him that's the correct differentiation. That if the psul is in the shechita, then it's called nevela. But if not, it's called terefa. Shachat et says the Gemara. Shachat et veshet. We said that if you slaughter the veshet first, and then you uprooted uprooted the kaneh, so then we said it's pasul, and we said it's a nevela, and even Rabbi Akiva agreed that it's a nevela. Rumini, we can ask a contradiction. It says in the third perek, Elu terefot b'behema. These are what's considered terefan and behema. If it's nikuvash taveshet, if there's a hole in the esophagus, upsukat gargeret, and if the gargeret, the windpipe is uprooted. So we have a contradiction, because in our Mishnah we said that if you have psukat gargeret, if the windpipe is severed, and then you do shechita before or after, so then it's considered nevela. And in Elu Terefot it says that it's terefa. So which one is it? We have a satira, and in our Mishnah, even Rabbi Akiva agreed that it's nevela. So, and over there it says it's terefa. So contradiction. Amarava la kasha is not a question. Kan sheshahat ulbasof pasak. This is talking about when you slaughtered and then you uprooted the windpipe. That's in our Mishnah. Kan shepasak ulbasof shahat. In Elu Terefot, it's when first it was uprooted and then you did the shechita. Shahat ulbasof pasak nifsed b'shechita. In our situation, when first you started slaughtering and then the kaneh got messed up, you got uprooted, so then it's considered a psul and shechita, and therefore it's nevela. But pasak ulbasof shachat, if it was uprooted and then you started the shechita, so kidavar aher gamra bipasel damya. It's as if something else caused it to be disqualified because it happened before the shechita. So Rabbi Acha asks Rava, this doesn't make sense. Why? Because shahatet aveshet upasaket agargeret. It says in our Mishnah, both the case of first shahatet aveshet upasaket agargeret and pasaket agargeret v'achakach shahatet aveshet, and both of them in nevela. So how could you tell me that we're only talking about a case where you start with the shechita? No, it says beferush that even if you start with cutting the veshet, psukat agargeret, even if you start with uprooting the veshet, still if you continue to do the shechita, it's pasul. So he tells him back, Emma, you know what? You should explain it. Then it means ukvar shahatet aveshet mikara. And it means you slaughtered when it says that the psukat agargeret came first and it's still nevela. No. That means that you had already slaughtered the veshet, and the way to read it is it's pasaket agargeret. If the gargeret was uprooted, v'acharkach shachatet veshet, that means that no, but originally and before that the veshet was already slaughtered. So Amar Lei told him back, I have two issues with what you said. If so, it's the same exact thing. Why is it repetitious? Same exact thing as the first case. The Atnan, it says in the Mishnah, ve'acharkach. It doesn't say kvar, it says ve'acharkach. So you can't take it you can't deny the words that it says. It says that you first slaughtered, then you pasaked. It says first you pasaked the gargeret, and then you slaughtered. And according to your reasoning, it should be terefah, not nevela. Ela marava, says Rava, elu asurot katani. You know what? Really, it doesn't mean elu terefot. In the Mishnah, in the third parak, it doesn't mean elu terefot. Elu asurot, you're right. There is going to be a situation where it's a nevela if first you slaughtered. In this situation of sukat gargeret, it's really a nevela. It says terefa. You're right. It's just including other animals also. V'yesh mehen nevelot, v'yesh mehen terefot. Some of these animals are nevela, and some of these are terefa. V'lich ask Gemara, if so, lichshov nami de Chizkiah. So let's mention also Chizkiah's case. Namar Chizkiah asagis tira nevela. If you're telling me that this list is inclusive of terefa and nevela, so we should say everything. We should say also the case of Chizkiah, which says that if you slaughter an animal and you slaughter it fully until you sever the entire head, it's called gistira, and that's pasul. It's a nevela according to Chizkiah, even if the animal is still thrashing around, it's still a problem. And we should also mention Rabbi Elazar's case. If you removed the thigh, and not only the thigh, but also the socket where the thigh is in. So we said already previously, we brought it down, this is called nevela. The animal is so messed up that it's considered a nevela. So why don't we mention all these things if elu terefot really just means elu asurot? So the Gemara, kikatani nevela, when do we mean? What are we going to count nevela delomi tam'a b'chayim? Something that we're only going to count the nevela or terefa, something that only once it's dead it's asur. Only once it's dead it's a nevela. But if these cases, the asag istera or like Rabbi Elazar's case, that's while the animal is still alive even. while the animal is still thrusting around, it still has chiyut in it, and therefore it's considered a nevela mechayim. Those type of cases we're not talking about. We're only talking about nevela. Aval nevela de mitamam mechayim lo katani. We're not talking about the nevelot that while they're alive they're mitameh. Continues the Gemara. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Amar, he has his own approach to understand the contradiction between the two Mishnayot. Kan sheshahat makom hetich. He says over here when we say that the shechita, that's called nevela because it's a psul in the shechita, is because you slaughtered in the same place where the incision was already, in the place where the cut in the gargeret was. Kan sheshahat shelo b'makom chetech. But in the case of elu terefot, you're right, it was sukat gargeret, which means it was uprooted, it was cut, but you didn't slaughter in that place. You did a full slaughtering because you slaughtered in a different place on the kaneh, on the windpipe. You didn't slaughter in the place that it was uprooted. You didn't stick the knife into the place where it was cut. So therefore, you did a full shechita, and therefore it's considered terefah, not nevela. Shachad makom chetech, he says nifsada b'shchita. It's a bad shechita. But if shelo b'makom chetech, if you slaughter not where the cut is, so then ki davar acher gam la lipasel dami. It's as if something else caused it. It's not a psul shechita. It's something else other than the shechita caused the issue, and therefore it's only terefah, not nevela. Asks the Gemara, Umi Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, did Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish ever say such a thing? Could it be? Ve'amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, didn't Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish say shachat ta kaneh? If you slaughtered the kaneh, and then after that, we know that only after you slaughtered the windpipe, in the lung got a hole, got a puncture. So if you find a puncture in the lung, it's a terefah. However, let's say you know that the puncture only happened after you slaughtered the kaneh. So then he says it's keshira. Why? Alma, because he holds kiman demancha bedikul adamya. He holds that it's just like once, because the kaneh is connected to the lung. It's really one long piece. The lung leads straight. The windpipe leads straight into the lung, and therefore, once you slaughter the kaneh, so it's like in a basket. The lung is not really part of the animal anymore. It's just in a basket. You do anything you want to it. It's not going to make the animal pasul, because it's already. It's like as if it's totally removed from the animal and it's in a basket. So then says the Gemara, Hachanami, also in our situation where you're telling me that the kaneh was severed, paska gargeret, right? It was severed and therefore it's a terefah. But what did you do? You slaughtered in that same place. If you slaughtered in that same place, right? Then we said, what? It's a psul shechita, it's a nevela. But if you slaughtered somewhere else, so then it's a good shechita. Says the Gemara, how could it be a good shechita? According to Resh Lakish, once something is severed, it's as if it's in a basket. It's not there anymore. So it can't constitute a good shechita. You're telling me if I do the shechita somewhere else, it's a good shechita, and it's motzi and stays terefah. Says the Gemara, that can't be, because once it's severed in one place, Resh Lakish holds it's as if it's in a basket, and therefore, if it's in a basket, shechita doesn't help, it's totally disconnected. Ela Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, La Kasha, different explanation. Kan Kodem Chazara, Kan Le'achar Chazara. The two Mishnayot are not a contradiction because Elu Terefot was written before Rabbi Akiva was Hozer, before Rabbi Akiva agreed to Rabbi Yeshivab. Originally, Rabbi Akiva disagreed with Rabbi Yeshivab and held this a Terefah, and then they wrote Elu Terefot according to Rabbi Akiva, and then Rabbi Akiva admitted, and he held like he admitted that Rabbi Yeshivab is right. He was Hozer. He reneged his opinion, and therefore, really that Mishnah was written according to Rabbi Akiva, and only later he was Hozer. And our Mishnah wrote down and recorded the fact that Rabbi Akiva was Hozer, but they never changed El Terefot. Mishnah lo zazam imkomah. That Mishnah was never re-edited. It wasn't removed. But really, everyone agrees that it's considered a nevela, just like our Mishnah. Okay, Gufa. says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Shachat et hakaneh v'achar kach nikva re'ah keshera. He holds that if you slaughter the kaneh and then the re'ah goes punctured, it's kasher, because like we said, it's in a, it's like it's in a basket. Amar Rava, lo Amar Rabbi Shimon Lakish ela bere'ah. Rish Lakish only meant this in a lung. Ho'id v'chayeh re'ah, since the life of the lung is talui b'kaneh, is totally dependent on the windpipe. It's all one organ, and if there's no oxygen coming in, so then the re'ah is useless, it's going to die. Right, so therefore it's considered one piece. Aval b'bnei me'ayim lo. But if you slaughter the kaneh, and then you have a hole in the bnei me'ayim, that doesn't. That's still pasul, because there's no connection between the kaneh and the bnei me'ayim. So matkif la Rab Zera asked Rabbi Zera, what does it make a difference? Me'achar shenoldu ba simanei terefa. Once there's something that's called a terefa, see, you have a siman terefa, and hitarta. And he said it's okay because you slaughtered the kaneh. So mali bere'ah, mali b'nei me'ayim. What's the difference if it's in the re'ah? What's the difference in the lungs of b'nei me'ayim? At the end of the day, there's a siman terefa in this animal. So therefore, if you don't care about it by the re'ah, how could you care about the b'nei me'ayim? Rabbi Zera does not hold of the reasoning that we explained Rish Lakish to mean that because the kaneh is severed and the lung is connected to the windpipe, therefore it's like the lung is in a basket. Rabbi Zera didn't hold that that's the explanation in Rish Lakish's statement. He held no, that Rashi says he held en terefah b'chatzi chiyut. If the animal is half dead, then he can't become taref. He thought that's what Rish Lakish's reasoning was. That once the shechita process started and it's half dead, we don't care if a terefah happens at that moment. So he says, what's the difference between the re'ah or the bnei me'ayim? And then the Gemara continues to say that hadar the hadar be Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera was choser. He agreed to the original reasoning. Eventually, he agreed that there is a differentiation between the lung and the bnei me'ayim because the lung is profoundly connected to the windpipe, and it's like sitting in a basket now. And how do we know that Rabbi Zera agreed? How do we know that he was choser and he ended up agreeing? That we shall see be'ezrat Hashem in Daf Lamed Gimel. Ad kan Xulin Daf Lamed Bet.